Today I want to talk about what I'd like to deem as the mindless film. This was actually a video I filmed maybe 2 months ago, but I couldn't get the idea right. I couldn't get the right basis. I wanted to base it on my experience watching Suicide Squad, but that was just how I switched off my brain to watch it so I could enjoy it. This is more about talking about the mindless, the nonsensical, just flat out kind of intended to be fun, goofy, don't think too hard about it and enjoy it kind of movie. This isn't really a criticism, but more of maybe analysis, I guess. Just a put the pin to the tail on the donkey kind of deal, like a label for it in my mind. A good version of this, because again, I have Suicide Squad as an example, but my main one is probably Fast and Furious. I love the Fast and Furious films. I did not like the idea of them and did not care about them until like last year when I bought the box set and binge watched them all. I'm like, holy shit, they're dumb but fun. And I realized it's just a category of movie. Again, you could put this as like a blockbuster that a big explosion, nothing much heart or thought to it, say like Rampage or San Andreas, or theoretically literally almost every single The Rock film. Nevertheless, they're just films that are made obviously for money, to make money, for the general audience, something that will get a lot of butts in seats, big names, big explosions, action usually. It's something that doesn't have as much artistic integrity to it, depending on who you're saying it to. Like, again, if I'm saying it's about Fast and Furious, a lot of hardcore Fast and Furious fans will be like, no, it's got a theme, it's about family, it's important. I understand that, I completely agree. But, like, could be a general person who hasn't watched the Fast and Furious films or doesn't care about them and doesn't regard them as highly as the Fast and Furious fans do. But then there's something like Suicide Squad, which you could argue along the same side of superhero films in general, that are films that are just dumb, mindless action films. I wouldn't agree on that, though, because there are so many of them and they all differ in their quality. Something like Spider-Man 2 is a fucking masterpiece, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2 have a heart and a soul to it. But then you got some shit like Captain Marvel, which is just a mess, or I'd say a lot of the DC films, but they at least still have an angle that they're going for. You know, Man of Steel I don't think is a masterpiece, but it's still an interesting film. It's an interesting interpretation of a character that's so beloved. But then if you go more into like Batman v Superman or Justice League, it just kind of becomes more of a mess. It depends on who you're talking to. If you're a hardcore fan of it, you'll fucking dig the shit out of it. But this is why I particularly like to go against Suicide Squad, because it's my least favorite film of all time. I do own it on Blu-ray because I hate it that much. I probably watch it once a year. And it's because it allows me to reappreciate what I like about film, and that's that film can be so competently made. I know I could just watch a lot of really good films, but you kind of become, it's like watching a director's career or an actor's career. They do all this really good stuff, and suddenly they do something that they really want to do that's a bit more out there and zanier, and suddenly everyone's just like, nope, we don't like you, get the fuck out. That's what happened to Kevin Costner with Waterworld and The Postman. I can't say if those films are actually good. I will be finding out about Waterworld by the end of the year. But the point more or less just comes to, you go on a roll of all these great things, but then suddenly you just do, watch one great thing that's not as great as the rest, and you just kind of get turned off from the whole thing. That's why it's good for film to have a balance of, you got your high art films, you've got your more critically regarded films, and then you've got your, shit like Star Wars that can be really good or really bad, but it's usually just, it's fun. It's an enjoyment to watch. But then you've got shit like Suicide Squad, where it's just mindless crap. The only reason I was able to enjoy it for its first time watching it was because I switched off my brain, was like, movie, explosions, apparently Harley Quinn's ass, if that's important. The important things in life. Shitty villains. Yay. I was mostly there for Cara Delevingne, to be completely fair, but also because the trailers looked really good. It's funny how things can get sold to you. Wow, lies everywhere. Anyway, point comes to it. The moment I got out of the theater, I literally my brain came back on. Everything I just experienced slapped me in the fucking face, and suddenly I looked to my friends who I know I was really excited, really happy, had really enjoyed myself. They were like, that was alright. And they were looking at me, they're like, what do you think, Julian? And so I went, yeah, no, that was terrible. Huh. You know, like, as in, like, just, like, this whole realization has dawned on me that that experience, though fun, the film was fun, it was actually terrible. Suddenly my mind was starting to click as to everything that was wrong with the film. And I wasn't openly trying to find every single thing that was wrong with it. It's just because my brain can be like that. I study film as it is, so I know what can be and cannot be a good film. But then I know what's a bad film that can be enjoyable, The Room, and what's a bad film that is just a complete disaster, Suicide Squad. And so my friends agreed with me that it was a mess of a film, but it wasn't the worst thing ever, but it was just kind of disappointing. And like, I can still see that, I can still understand how people like the film, but I also don't understand how the fuck people like the film. I think the only people that I know that actually like the film are just because they're really big DC fanboys or fangirls. They really either really love the films or really love the comics and the characters. You know, like, there are people who love Harley Quinn and are like, oh, I love Suicide Squad because of Harley Quinn. It's like, cool. She's not that great in it, but she's not terrible. She's like, it's a good portrayal of the character, but it's a bad situation for the character to be in because it's very unrealistic. In fact, it's mostly unrealistic for all of them to be against her, which that's why I'm interested for The Suicide Squad, because it actually seems like it's an interesting idea. And I don't know what the fuck the idea it is. It's like, put a bunch of supervillains in this, all these random ones in, like, a war? It's interesting of an idea, whereas Suicide Squad was, nope, just a big witch villain trying to destroy the world. Okay, anti-heroes who aren't Superman, the Flash, well, Superman was dead by that stage. The Flash, Batman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, probably Green Lantern, probably Martian Manhunter, probably some other fucking dude, you know. Did I say that, Aquaman? I don't know, there's a lot of them that just could have gone in there and done it, but, you know, DC, that's how I be. What I'm really trying to get at is, the mindless film can either be a film, like, Suicide Squad isn't exactly a mindless film like Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious is a film where you're allowed to go in there, and it pretty much is like an invitation. Come in, turn your brain for a few hours, enjoy the stupid stunts, enjoy the Vin Diesel trying to act, enjoy this, enjoy that, but then appreciate the family, because there's still a theme to it. You know, there's so much enjoyment value to have, which again you could say for any blockbuster. But, you know, some of them are at least trying a bit more to be something important, whereas Fast and Furious I don't think really ever did. It's just fun and stupid. It's a car movie, but car movies aren't always dumb. It's a lot of generalizations in one sentence that could really piss off a lot of people. You get what I'm trying to say? So I'm like trying to say something and then defend it immediately, so it's like I'm retracting exactly what I'm trying to say. It's just hard to make a generalization about everything when there's a lot of everything. If you focus as the Fast and Furious films, they're movies that you can go into expecting dumb, explosive action. Yet the one time I really expected to see that and expected to enjoy it was for the Hobbs and Shaw film, and I hated that film. It was like a complete waste of my time and money, to the point that I still haven't even got it on Blu-ray because I don't want to. I don't want to watch it again. Whereas the other Fast and Furious films, except for The Fate of the Furious, and arguably Too Fast, Too Furious, I don't know, I feel like that's an underappreciated gem in its own right. It's something that I can maybe learn to appreciate more. But then I love Tokyo Drift. You know, I think that that's the only film that actually has stakes in it, you know? But then I still think, you know, Fast 5 or Furious 6, is it? Fast and Furious 6? I can't remember which ones have the nicknames or not. I'm pretty sure it's Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, and Furious 7. Nevertheless, I think 5 or 6 was my favourite, but I do really like Tokyo Drift. But again, you know, I'm not going into them and expecting them to be like, art. But they are. But not, you know, I feel like they're the kind of art that you'd be like, you know, your kid would draw on crayon, you'd be like, this is nice, pin it on the fridge, and then just see it every single time and be like, hey, at least they're trying. They have enjoyed themselves. They have appreciation that I enjoy what they have made. I haven't enjoyed to the fullest extent of what I could enjoy too because of a critical mindset. But at the same time, hey, they're doing what they want to do. It's fun. It's fun for everyone around. You know, I'm not expecting someone to come into my house, point at the the fridge and say, "What the fuck is that on your fridge? That's disgusting," and then have my kid bloody shoot their head off or some shit. I don't know what America's like these days, but I'm assuming that's what happens in regular households. Nevertheless, I don't go into someone's house and say, "Oh, you're Fast and Furious, you're a fucking idiot." In fact, I know two people who really like Fast and Furious. My mate guy loves it. Him and I talk about it frequently enough. My friend Lachlan also likes it. Lachlan from Lachlan Reviews likes it. But I've got a friend whose dad loves the Fast and Furious films, but he just loves them as just generic dumb blockbusters. But they're just fun. They just have something more to themselves. It's not generic, even though it could be. And it just comes down to this idea of just appreciating something. And then we just talked about it briefly, like just how we both enjoy it for like its own merits of it being just something special and something, because there's a lot of dumb action movies, generic mindless films that, will either not make their money back or not be as critically regarded to make a sequel, or maybe they're not even franchise worthy. However it be, but there can just be elements to these films that are just, it could be guilty pleasure. It could be under the same logo, but I think guilty pleasure, saying that that's also a mindless film, seems a bit insulting to the film itself, unless it actually happens to be that kind of a film, But I can understand something like Fast and Furious is probably a guilty pleasure film as well, but it's like, what are you being guilty of? Watching dumb action movies? People watch dumb action movies all the time, but it's like, they're fun, they're creative, they're trying something different every fucking time, more or less. And yeah, it's an interesting thing. And look, the moral of the story here is that Suicide Squad is a piece of shit, and you should watch the Fast and Furious films. They're much better than a lot of people give them credit for. And yeah, look, you're allowed to go in them and expect them to be, if you want to go in with a critical mindset of being like, if there's something really here, then I'm going to find it. But it's like, dude, the obvious value, people like cars, and family is important. If you diss family, go fuck yourself. If you diss cars, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, there are also motorbikes. Kind of. Or helicopters. Or Vin Diesel. Never, his name is literally Diesel. Anyway, look, that's just my mindset on that. I didn't really know how else to really express this or talk about it as a topic, because it's kind of a generic thing, but I don't know. I think the best of the mindless films, like the Fast and Furious, are things that you can go in without this expectation of it's gonna be like artistic or anything. Like, if you want more artistic, creative action thriller or something like that, you go with Mission Impossible. Because it's so excellently crafted. Whereas Fast and Furious is messy, yeah, but it sticks to its goals. It knows who its characters are, it knows what its core theme is, and it has fun with the whole thing. You can go in there, expect an explosive 2 hours of fun, and then you go home happy, because it's like, that was an enjoyment of my time, That was a good use of my time, just watching something entertaining for a few hours. That's how I felt when I initially watched Suicide Squad. It was just something entertaining to watch for 2 hours, and then exactly when I got out of that theater, I was completely disappointed that I wasted my time. Anyway, at least I was going to watch it anyway, because the trailers look good, the reviews are bad, but my friends were also going to watch it, so I decided to go with my friends. So I still wasn't going on it on my own basis of, I'm going to use my money to really emphasize, to really look at this film, to really, look at it. No, I just wanted to have a fun time, and I had a fun time. Nevertheless, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe for more. I have a playlist about video essays probably up there. This is kind of what I deem a video essay. Not more professional scripted one, but more of a, let's talk about a topic and just elaborate. See how much bullshit I can make up on the spot. I'm usually good at that. Nevertheless, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. There's probably another suggested video here, and you can subscribe probably around here, and yeah. I did actually do a bunch of a calm and relaxed review on the Fast and Furious films if you want to watch that, so I might pin that there instead. Outside of that, thanks for watching. If you have any opinions on the Mindless film, if you think I'm completely wrong, or if you have good examples, then yeah, chuck them down below. What do you think of this? Is this an interesting mindset, or do you think I'm just making up stuff? See you next time.